Hey Sharon, you should get an award for, like, after you're the first commenter after like 10 videos or something. I should give something away for free. That sounds like a good idea. How are you guys doing tonight? I've got baby girl on the front because she does not feel well today. So kind of started yesterday. So we're gonna see how long she's gonna last, and I'll pass her off to Nevaeh. But she can't be forward facing because she likes to bless our food with her feet. So we stopped that whole thing when we started cooking, after we realized what she was doing with her feet. Her feet are just as cute as she is, but you want to see yourself, don't you? All right, so tonight we're going to be making chicken patties. Now these chicken patties are grain-free, super fast to make, which I'm just about to show you. And you could eat them on regular bread. You could eat them on, I have a video up here on the channel on grain-free bread. You could make that and eat them on there. We are just going to eat them just plain on a plate with some mayonnaise and some mustard probably, maybe a little bit of cheese. But you can eat them however you like, and no one is ever going to know that these are a health food item or that they are grain-free. They get nice and crispy. So we're going to get started on that. Also, if you missed the live, that's the last video here on the channel. I did discuss that I was going to start doing a recipe of the week. The link is down in the description box. This week's recipe is a absolutely delicious apple pie coffee cake. It is grain-free, gluten-free, and it comes with directions on how to make it GAPS approved. So check that out. It's down in the description box below. It's only $3, and all the proceeds are going to go to paying for the internet, which we put in just for my cooking classes. So I would love it if you guys would support me in that way, and I'm going to try every week to have a new recipe. So that's that. Let's get started. So as one of our sides, we're going to be doing some mixed vegetables. So I have started them. They are in this pot back here. We're going to just start the heat on those, get them steaming, and then we're going to get to making patties. I did have one of the viewers, Kathy, had emailed me about cheese, so I actually started another batch of cheese, not because of you, Kathy, but because you had questions. She wanted to see what it looked like, so I'll just give you guys a little view here real quick. So this is 2 gallons of milk that has been cultured into cream cheese. And pretty much everything on the top is whey. So this is about, I had to guess, about an inch of whey on the top. And then you're going to hit a soft cream cheese is just kind of floating in this with more whey. So the process then is to ladle this whey out, and we use it to ferment our chicken feed or do ferments with it. So I would take this layer of whey off the top, and then I have a cheesecloth that I would load the soft cream cheese into, and then that gets a rubber band around it, and it gets hung up, and it drips for about 2 to 3 hours till the dripping slows down. And then I just divide it into 1 pound blocks and lay it flat and then freeze it. So that's how I make my goat cheese. I can't do it yet because this actually isn't ready yet. It won't be ready until about 7:30 tonight. But that's easy. You just heat the milk on up, add your cultures, stir it around, and then just let it sit for 12 hours. So I started that one this morning. All right, so let's get to this recipe, shall we? So I've got a nice big bowl here. Actually, it's a smaller bowl, but it's a nice bowl, nice size there. And this recipe, we're going to saute it in the nice cast iron skillet here, and I have some lard. If you don't have any lard, you can use coconut oil, butter, goose fat, duck fat, any of those, even butter if you want to use butter, will work to saute this. So we're just going to go ahead and start dumping. This is a really fast meal. So I had made up some broth, which means I've been cooking down some chickens from our last chicken harvest. And so this is 4 cups of already cooked up chicken. If you want, you could put some chicken breasts inside a slow cooker and then come home and shred them up. But this is what I have for now. The next ingredient is a 1.5 cups of cheese. You could use any type of cheese you want. In fact, this would be really, really good with like a jalapeno jack. But we're going to be using just plain cheddar because we are on full GAPS right now. Okay, the next ingredient is 2/3 of a cup of mayonnaise. I do have a video on how to make homemade mayonnaise, or if you have my cookbook, the recipes inside the cookbook. We're going to be putting 2/3 of a cup into there. Once I find a spoon, hang on. The dishwasher didn't get unloaded today. Luckily, it got started, so that's awesome. All right, 2/3. This is a 1/3 cup measurement. So I need 2 of them. My homemade mayonnaise is nice and bright yellow because, well, my egg yolks are orange right now. So it makes my mayonnaise a little bit oranger yellow than normal. It's happy chickens out on the farm. 2/3 of a cup of mayonnaise. One of the reasons why I like making my own homemade mayonnaise is that it doesn't have any soy, for number 1. And number 2, doesn't have canola, any of the other oils I don't approve of. And it's nice and fresh, and it's made from my eggs. Okay, so we have 4 cups of chicken, 2/3 of a cup of mayonnaise, 1 1/3 cup of cheese. Okay, we're going to go ahead and throw in 4 whole eggs, obviously minus the shell. And like I said, I have that pan preheating back here behind us. There we go, 4 eggs. We need 1 cup of coconut flour. We'll get that going. You could also use almond flour if that's what you have. It's just you might have to adjust the amount of eggs you're putting in. So we need a whole cup. This, I think, makes 14 patties if I remember right. So I'm making the full recipe because I want to make sure we have some left over for lunch tomorrow. All right, we need some dill weed. So not dill seed, but dill weed. It's the green looking one here. We need 1 tablespoon. You're okay, lovey. Just a minute. I knew she probably wasn't going to last in here because she doesn't like it anymore. She's not an itty bitty baby anymore. Okay, and then the last ingredient is 3/4 of a teaspoon of salt. There we go. So I'm going to try and turn her around in my wrap and see what happens. All the ingredients are now in a bowl. So maybe we can keep her feet out of the bowl. We're going to find out. Yeah. I think she honestly just wants to see herself. There you are. Yeah, you're still cute. You're still cute. It hasn't changed at all. Anyway, she just has a cold of some sort. So, she's had the runny nose. Sharon says, can you list the ingredients again? I sure can. So, into a bowl of your choosing, we put 4 cups of already cooked up chicken, 2/3 of a cup of mayonnaise. Of course, in order to make this recipe, you have to strap a cute baby to the front of you. That's the way it works. 4 eggs, 1 cup of coconut flour. And the eggs to the coconut flour, you might have to adjust depending on what kind of coconut flour you're using. I just buy Azure Standard every time, so if you order from Azure, just order your coconut flour from there and you'll know 4 eggs is enough. 1 tablespoon of dill. 1 1/3 cup of cheddar cheese or mozzarella cheese or Parmesan, whatever you want. You need 1 1/3 cup. 3/4 of a teaspoon of salt. And then this is what we have. You want to go see your sissy? Are you done now? I'm going to go pass her off on the sissy. She's done being in here. I'll be right back. Can you take her upstairs to the bed? You should probably lose the last one. Okay, I'm back. I could actually like wear an apron. Wouldn't that be nice? Let me grab one. postpartum, like all of my shirts are stained because I'd have like either baby throwing up on me or, you know, something from the stove splattering because I couldn't wear an apron. So now I have one. This is kind of nice. Might have to do a cooking class every night, right? All right, just gonna check comments and we're gonna get these cooking. Okay, we're good. So now we've got the skillet over medium heat. This is the cast iron skillet. It's hot if I hold my hand over it. So we are ready to start adding ingredients. The reason why we want to wait till it's hot is because otherwise this is all going to stick. Meat will stick to cast iron if it's not preheated. I wish someone would have told me that in my first journey with cast iron, because I thought, man, I have to re-season it. I have to do this. I have to do that. And it turns out it was just that I had the temperature way too high, and I was, you know, either frying my coating off, or I was putting my meat in while the cast iron skillet was still cold, and it would stick to it. So basically had a whole bunch of meals that were sticking, and there's a big mess to clean up. So I'm just like mashing this up like you would a meatloaf, and just incorporating the ingredients with my hands. If that's gross to you, grab a spoon, no problem. In fact, you could take these and you could season them any way you wanted. You could like do Italian by doing some Italian seasoning instead of the dill. That would be really good. And then drizzle like some, I don't know what would be good on that. Like a, I don't know, some sort of cream sauce, like garlic cream sauce or something. But then you'd have to thicken it, which wouldn't be gaps. All right, so now comes the part where you have to decide how big of a patty you want. And I have a plastic patty press. They're super cheap at Walmart or what have you. And so you gotta decide how big of a patty you want. I typically try to stay in the 1/3 cup size because I feel like with little kids, they're either going to eat it or they're not. And if you give them a huge patty, it's just going to get wasted. So anyway, I just load the patty and smush it down there. There it is. What's kind of cool is this specific press has lines on it. So it actually looks like grill marks for these patties, which is so cool. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and add some lard to the pan. And then I'm just going to invert this over my hand. Comes on out and in it goes. And then we do the next one. So you're going to leave these cooking on the first side until the entire outside of it turns brown, okay? Around the bottom part there. If you flip them too soon, they will fall apart. So like I said, I do about 1/3 of a cup, which gives you a pretty good patty. That one just fell apart. Hang on. Re-squish it. It is a little more temperamental than your regular mix, so sometimes you have to like reload and re-squish, but once they get cooked, they stay together. There we go. See, that's not too bad of a patty. Right in it goes. Like I said, these get nice and crispy. You could add onion to this if you wanted, or add onion as a topping, purple onion or something. A slice of tomatoes, you know, a couple of slices of cheese. Could act like a bun, one on the top, one on the bottom. I mean, you could just use your imagination. There they are. But I always make sure that I have cooked up chicken into the freezer, and this is one of the recipes why. Because not only does it take up way less space than a whole chicken, but you can whip together a meal super fast if you already have cooked chicken. I'm going to go wash my hands. The other cool thing about this recipe is everything is cooked in here but the eggs. So we're literally just waiting. You guys can always see it better with no light. That always throws me for a loop. We're just waiting for these to crisp up along the bottom. just going to angle my pan there to make sure the lard's getting to all of them, because they kind of get fried is what ends up happening. And that cheese melts, which is kind of like the glue that holds everything together, which is awesome. That's going to keep on going. Got my handy dandy flipper. Usually we, like I said, we eat this with the mayonnaise on top, and you could do ketchup. I don't know that I would do ketchup. I mean, as a kid I would have done ketchup, but as an adult probably not. Wouldn't be my first choice. So I'm just going to check and see if this one even looks remotely done. It's just starting to get done, so I'm going to try and flip. There it is. Time for a close-up. Look at how pretty, right? Amazing. And like I said, because of my press, like I said, I paid like probably $4 for this at Walmart. It makes it look like it got grilled, which is so cool. I don't remember which one. I think I put this one in next. That last one's not quite done yet, so I was just waiting until the edges get toasty brown, and then we're flipping. We've got the vegetables going on the back burner there. And I'm just going to put the done patties on a plate. You could totally put them on like a baking sheet and put it in the oven to keep them warm, because obviously this isn't going to get all done at once. Maybe I'm going to do that. I got quite a few to make. We'll do that instead. I just got done doing another huge load of broth. I'm going to go get that all canned maybe tomorrow. We'll see. Right now it's just the plan is to put it into the fridge. So we will see. It's so funny because I don't know if you guys just saw that, but I reached out to touch this to see how firm it was, which only applies to like real meat, like hamburger. It doesn't even apply to this, but anyway, it's just out of habit. So let's got a few more minutes here. We're just looking for crispy golden brown. There we go. I just decided to, like I said, make more cheese this morning because I seem to only do like one batch, because 2 gallons of goat milk from our goats will give us like around 3 pounds of cream cheese. And I just do it, and I'm like, oh good, the fridge is a little more empty. But like, it's not really that much empty where I should stop making cream cheese. I should just keep going. So I think when this is actually empty tonight, I'll probably start the next batch, just to keep on track of it. But our freezer is filling up really fast. So there you go. There is your delicious patty. This one needs to get flipped. I don't know if you guys can see this. I'm going to try and show you, but the very, very edges are brown. See it? So it's ready to flip. I would not recommend walking away while you're cooking these, because they burn actually pretty quick. And like I said, medium heat always with cast iron, so medium heat this time too. I'm actually in the process of seeing if I can order. I had a comment on my old choke cherry jam video from almost a year ago, and I used Pomona's pectin with that, and after that video we actually lost, because Pomona's pectin comes with pectin, and then it comes with like a white envelope thing with some calcium powder stuff in it, and we actually lost the small little thing of calcium powder. So I have officially gone through my entire pantry looking for it, because of course I bought a whole pound of the Pomona's pectin, so now I have no way to make jam. And this week or next week is when the choke cherries start ripening in this area. It's supposed to be close to 100 this weekend, so I'm sure next week will be the time. So I sent them an email. I'm hoping that they answer me back and say, oh, well, you know, for this amount of money, we'll ship you some, just the powder stuff. But it doesn't really seem like there's an option for that on their website. So I'm hoping that I get a human. Oh yeah, you could totally make chicken parmesan. Yeah, so you would do, well, I don't know that Parmesan cheese is going to melt right, but you could do chicken. If you're not doing gaps, you could do chicken, mozzarella, and Italian seasonings. And then you could actually, you know what you could do? You could make the Alfredo sauce recipe inside my cookbook and drizzle that over the top. That'd be delicious. But we're just doing cheddar cheese because the whole gaps thing. But if you're not, you could totally, you could go a lot of ways with this. Do, yeah, like chicken parmesan and do a red sauce, drizzle it over the top. That'd be yummy too. And these are really, really good on a salad. You cook them till they're crispy and then like break them into pieces. Oh, it's like having fried chicken on top of a salad, but it's not fried. I mean, it's technically fried, but you know what I mean. It doesn't have breading. I just love those grill marks. They look so good. I was just making them into patties, and then the other night we had them again because we love them so much. And I was like, I wonder what, you know, how flat of a patty I could make with my press. And then it was like the second I flipped it over, I was like, oh my gosh, it looks so pretty with the grill marks. So it's staying now. That's that. I'm also working on another meal plan. I brought out the computer and worked on it a little bit today. It's just slow going because I got to type all of the recipes and everything else. But I am working on another meal plan for the website for instant download. I'd like to have it where I have all the meal plans ready ahead of time, and you guys see the Azure haul, and you have a little link there that you could instantly download all of the recipes, because those are the recipes I'm going to be making that whole month. So, all right. Everything is like finally starting to dry out here. We had a ton of flooding. It was not good. I mean, I'm sure a lot of you have seen the flooding videos. I'm so glad we built our home on our homestead where my husband wanted to build it instead of where I wanted to, because had we done it where I wanted to, it would have been flooded. So I'm grateful for that. But there's a lot of farmers that are going to be negatively, or have already been negatively affected, which means our food next year is going to be more expensive. But the mosquitoes here are horrendous. They are relentless and horrendous. They're just, ugh, they're just all over you. Go outside for 5 minutes and you come back in with about 50 bites. It's just crazy. But I attribute that to the extra water because it's so wet here. We're going to figure out how many patties this makes, I'll tell you that much. We've already got 5 done and 4 in the pan, so that's 9 already. I think it's going to be more than 14. It also depends on how many, or how big you make yours. You know, if you make them bigger than when I'm making mine, then obviously you'd get less. I also saw a recipe for zucchini like buns. I've never tried them before, so I wasn't going to advertise that in this scenario, but they were advertising like you could do grilled cheese and stuff with it. I don't know. I've never done it before. We'll just have to see. But yes, we had tons and tons of rain. I think our farm had 5 inches in a week, which is a lot. And it came like within just a few days. Which makes life crazy. Okay, I'm going to wash my hands and get this 13 by 9 with the patties into the oven. I'm just going to put the oven on like its lowest setting here and slip those into the oven so they stay nice and warm. I think the lowest setting on my oven is 170. Yep. And it goes. So good. We need a little bit more lard in the pan. If you notice that your patties aren't getting brown and crispy on the edges and like notifying you, hey, I need to be flipped, you need a little bit more cooking oil. And then they'll get nice and crispy. All right. Where did you live with flooding? No, South Dakota. Yeah, South Dakota. North of us, they had 18 inches of rain in half of a week. So it went pretty crazy, and then it's working its way down. Maybe it's to Texas by now, I'm not sure. But it had, you know, it flooded in Nebraska and Iowa and all those things because the same storms that started down around in our area and dumped 19 or 18 inches of rain, like moved into Minnesota and did the same there. So it's just a bunch of water going nowhere really. Well, I mean, it's going somewhere, but it washed out a whole bunch of homes and roads, and it was pretty rough. This one into the oven. I should have done this a little differently. Hang on. I instinctively put my pan on the middle rack. You can't add to it when there's a rack in the way. So actually, I'll just move the other rack down. There we go. All right. Yeah, I would imagine that all the flooding has made it all the way to Texas, if I had to guess. There we go. So we're just getting our homeschooling back up and running for now. When harvest season kicks in, we back off again. But I did have quite a few questions on homeschooling come in, so I'll just answer those really quick. So somebody was asking how I get my kids to do their schoolwork, because their fear was, if they homeschool, how are they gonna, basically what they didn't want to say is, how are they gonna get the same respect that a school teacher has at home? And I guess my answer to that is that your children should have more respect for you than a school teacher. So if there's already an issue there, it's not actually the public school saving you. It's just there's an issue that your children are away from you long enough where there's an issue that's not being addressed. So when you go to start homeschooling, yeah, you're going to have a little bit of an uphill battle. Although I will say that my kids have always been homeschooled. So I feel like I had more of a battle than you would, because your kids are in school 8 hours a day. Whereas my kids are in school, quote unquote, doing school for 3 to 4 hours a day, and that's it. And I actually went through public school and was homeschooled for 1 year. And that 1 year, when I realized all I had to do was do school for 4 hours and I was done, I got my stuff done and I was out. I got the whole afternoon to play. So I don't think it's as hard as you think it is. But if there are some issues between you and your child as far as respect on whatever levels, you will have to address those. Especially when they're home with you all day. And some days are easier than others. Even with my kids, I actually threaten them that I'll send them to public school if they don't toe the line, man. Because they can't even imagine sitting in a desk for 8 hours. We also, a different subject, we're going to be starting our care at the orchard that we take care of. It's not here on the farm, it's somewhere else. That starts this weekend. And then we'll have hopefully lots of produce this fall, which will be really nice. I canned up a lot of apple pie filling last fall, which is so good. I think I'm going to do that again. The only problem is we're not supposed to be having cornstarch on GAP's diet, so I might have to think about a different way to do it. But we sure enjoyed the sugar-free, just sweetened with honey apple pie filling. If you don't have the apple pie filling, recipe. Part of it is in the instant download for the recipe of the week, which is down below. Or if you want more than that, let's say another 200 plus recipes, the link for my cookbook is down below. And all you do is click, use whatever form of payment you want, and I ship it right to you. The recipe of the week, just in case you're just jumping on, is apple pie coffee cake. It is gluten-free, grain-free, and can be full GAPS approved. And like I said, that link is down below. But these are just cooking up delicious. I've never frozen these before. I don't think that they would freeze very well. Because they're kind of, I don't want to say they're fragile, but they kind of are. It's not like a regular chicken patty, so. But you can rewarm them up. We've eaten them as leftovers. Which is what we're going to be doing tomorrow for lunch. Ooh, that chunk of chicken just fell out. There we go. But things are going along as normal. I'm going to go ahead and turn my oven off now that it's reached 170 degrees to keep the patties warm that are in there. Our farm is going along as normal. We had, if you didn't watch the live on Sunday, we had a big loss because we lost 100 of our 3-week-old meat birds this weekend. That hurt just a little. So, but we were able to find a hatchery that we could order a different kind of bird to fill our freezer this fall. So that was interesting. But other than that, let's see what else is happening on the farm. All the goats are still out to pasture. We decided to buy hay from our neighbor this year, and that is because the fields are all around us, and so it's kind of the grass our goats are used to anyway. And he would deliver the bales. We did big round bales. And big round bales are way cheaper than square bales. Let's see, we have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. 12 in the oven already, so we're going way over 14 here. So I probably have another 3 to 4 patties to make yet. Let's see, what else? We're going to be, like I said in the live, we're going to be selling 2 of our goats this fall because we don't need more than 21 gallons of milk coming into the house at once. Just too much. Let's see, we've got chickens that have been, we got some chicks, what we end up doing, because I have a chicken addiction. And so we got some chicks this spring to quote-unquote replace some of the older chickens, but see, my chicken math isn't very good, so I say I'm going to replace them, but I probably am not. Because they have names. My kids have named the ones that were left. 2 years ago, I sold off the ones that were getting older that didn't have names. But now here we are, fast forward 2 years, and we still have the ones with names, and well, they're not really keeping up with their keep, you know? They're not laying much, but I don't know. The kids will realize if one of them's missing, so I don't know what I'm going to do. Like, I had all these black Australops, and I think they all look the same. But Brianna will tell you that she can look them in the eye and see which one they are. I can't do that. I don't know. I don't have that gift. You know what I mean? It's just a black chicken to me. But not to Bree. She can tell you exactly who it is and how old they are. All those things. So, I can't get away with just making them disappear. Our neighbor has offered to take them and just stick them out. She has a horse trailer that she puts out on her pasture behind her cows. And they break up all the manure and everything so the grass doesn't die where the cows go to the bathroom. And I don't know. We've given her some chickens. I just don't know if my kids are going to want to give her these ones or not. They might have to, though, because the chicken tractor is just not big enough. And I'm kind of totally in denial as to how many chickens I have, so it's not a good scenario. But anyway, I did buy 25, I think, something like that, chicks this spring to replace something. I'm not sure what they're going to be replacing. At this point, they're not replacing anything. Oh my goodness. It's all good. I bet you my vegetables are just about done. Oh yeah. I'm gonna turn those off. Just gonna finish sauteing here. And you'll get like a little bit of, yeah, that one just broke. So if they break, shove them back together and then just fry that back side really good. The side that's down. And it'll hold it together. I just flipped too soon and I flipped too late with that one. That one's a little burned. That'll probably be mine. I don't have too picky of kids, but every now and then somebody's like, I don't want the burned one. I don't want the burned one. All right, fine. I'll take the burned one. Don't worry about it. There we go. I had another popular topic brought up to me this week. I had a friend visiting from Minnesota, and she was wondering my 50 cents on sleep apnea in children, swollen tonsils or adenoids. And so my advice to any of you out there that are watching this that are dealing with that with your children, first of all, sleep apnea can be the wideness in their jaw, their actual airway. And literally the only chance you have at correcting that without seeking other help is nutrient-dense foods. So we're talking cod liver oil every day, emu oil, things that are going to support the body to be able to, as your child grows, have their mouth expand on its own. I've had that happen with one of my children. I used to think she was going to have some serious work done because she was a baby I had before I was eating nutrient-dense foods. But it turns out that as she grew on nutrient-dense foods, liver, cod liver oil, emu oil, all the good things, lots of raw milk, that jaw has actually gotten wider. And the tooth has actually changed orientation, if that makes sense. So now I'm thinking she can get away with some Invisalign or something similar once she has all of her teeth in. But so yeah, so it's an issue of the jaw not being big enough usually, but it can also be, and I have seen this multiple times now in my life, can also be a food allergy. Because if you think about it, your tonsils are what protect you from foreign bodies, and your adenoids as well. And so if you end up having, let's just say an undiagnosed food allergy to wheat or wheat gluten, right? The body's already marked that particular food as a food allergy. So as it's coming into your mouth and you're swallowing, your tonsils are trying to collect as much of that as possible because it's already been marked as a foreign body. So those end up getting swollen, your adenoids end up getting swollen, and then you have airway restriction because they're swollen. So check that out too, if you're a mom living with that situation. Also, wetting the bed can be another warning sign, you know, later into toddlerhood, you're still wetting the bed. It can be another sign of food allergy because your liver is trying to flush everything at 2 a.m. and what ends up happening is your urine is so toxic the body wants it out instantly, so the child urinates in their sleep. All right, these are the last 4. Well, I have one more. Last 5, and then we'll get a total count on our patties. I just bought in my last Azure haul some Bubby's fermented dill relish. It is so good. If you haven't tried it, you need to. I could just sit and eat the whole jar. It's just so good. So if your kids would like dill relish on something like this, you should try buying some of that because it does. It tastes so good. And it's a good way to get fermented food into your kids. I saw a comment. Just 1 second. Let me get this one into the pan and wash my hands, and I will touch my phone and answer for you. Just 1 second. All right, drying the hands, here I come. Oh, I missed a couple of comments. Hang on. Okay, sorry, I missed the recipe of the patties. What's in this? Okay, hang on one second. So the patties was 4 cups of already cooked up chicken, 2/3 of a cup of homemade mayonnaise, 4 eggs, 1 cup of coconut flour, 1 tablespoon of dill, 1.5 cups of your cheese of choice. This is cheddar cheese because we're on full gaps, so we can't have really much of anything else that would melt. And then 3/4 of a teaspoon of healthy salt. And you just mix them together, make your patties, and put it in the pan. Hey, hey, Alabama! I love the name of your little name there for YouTube. Is it Breath or Breathe by James Nestor? Is a good book and explains how breathing works. All right. We're going to have a count here. We're within minutes of having a count of how much it actually makes. I'm just happy to have a recipe that we can have on gaps. It's so delicious. All right, this one is done. All right. 12, 15, 19, 20, 21 patties. Just like that. See, that one I waited a little bit too long for. That'll probably be mine as well. There we go. But it's not too hard to make these. You could, I guess you could make them ahead and rewarm them, but that's what we're going to do tomorrow for lunch. And there are all sorts of breathing techniques as well to learn about when it comes to breathing. I'm just saying there's so many things it could be. It could be food allergies. It could be. So before you go, and the same thing with ear infections, where children have repeated ear infections. A lot of times that's a food allergy. Could also be from something else that they get at their monthly wellness checks. Yeah. Hey, Alabama, it says crispy is good. Oh, they're so crispy. When you can't have something that's crispy, usually it's to have something that's crispy is so nice. I'm gonna move these into the oven to stay nice and warm. This one still needs to cook a little. I just broke it apart. I'll add a little bit of lard and we'll see if we can't get it to crisp up. There it goes. All right. Thanks for the recipe, Crystal, and thanks for taking us along, even if you risked some burnt. Yeah, some of them are burnt, just a little bit, but that's okay. That's life. Okay, sort of like the live when I had the pile of laundry that was covered in baby puke on my floor over here. This is unedited here. There, see? Totally crisped up with a little bit of lard drizzled around it, and it's not going to fall apart. We're going to move right into the oven, and it'll be ready for somebody. So I'm going to show you guys how I would make up a plate, so you guys have an idea. First, I'm going to wipe this counter off. Hang on a second. It is messy. Let's get a rag. And then we'll make it on up for everybody. Another way to get ferments into your kids is to have it as one of the sides. It actually is a really good way to save some money because cabbage isn't really that expensive. Okay, I'm going to angle you down and show you how I would make this and serve it. I gotta find one of the burned ones. Hang on. There we go. There it is, and I would top it with some homemade mayonnaise. See if my mustard is full enough. This is a non-organic bottle, but I actually have organic Azure Standard yellow mustard in here. Mustard and relish. Let me grab it. This is the relish I was telling you about. So good. And it just adds that like, hi, I'm a loaded patty experience, you know? Since there's not going to be any bread tonight. So there's this, and then we're just going to do some of the vegetables on the side. With butter, of course. You guys are probably going to miss William joining me for milk because we can't drink milk anymore. We're drinking kefir. And we always drink all of our kefir in the morning, so it's still brewing. So there it is. A little bit of butter, a little bit of salt and pepper. And that is dinner. If you guys are in need of kefir grains for dairy kefir or sourdough starter, those are all, I still have all of them ready to ship to you. They're down below, along with my cookbook is down below. And like I said, that recipe of the week, please check it out. As I said inside my live, we weren't ever actually planning on having Wi-Fi in our home. And it is unplugged when we're not using it. But if you feel led to help cover that cost, that would be awesome. The link is down below, $3 for the recipe of the week. So check that out. And I'm going to try and get one out every week. Other than that, if you have any other suggestions for videos that you'd like me to make, I'm totally open to that as well. Just comment down below and let me know. Other than that, anyone else have anything to talk about? 46 minutes and dinner's done. All right. So that book we talked about earlier, Hey Alabama, says he goes through a lot of the techniques and has the science to back it up. There's a lot of it and it's up to date. Cool. This is going to be delicious. Sounds good. I might get some kefir grains. Good night. All right, you guys. Well, have a good night. Thanks for joining me. I'm hoping to be on next week as well, so I'll make a pre-scheduled event and keep your eyes out for that so you can click the notify me button. The only thing that would keep me from doing a live is if I am sick with whatever baby has. So I'm going to take as many herbs and boostings as I possibly can so that hopefully I don't get sick as well. But keep an eye out for that pre-scheduled event. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one.